But do we find ourselves hopelessly attached to this world we live in? Do we find ourselves hopelessly attached to this world we live in? And I'll give you in the context, in the sense that I mean that. Do we find ourselves more concerned with the day-to-day toils of this life than we are for our relationship with God? We can only answer that ourselves. Or do we, as a result, focus less and less on anyway? If we think about it, are we watching our financial portfolios? Well, we'd be fools if we weren't. The thing is, Claude, we had this conversation a while back. It's not that we don't focus, we're not supposed to be foolish with the money God gives us, okay? But if that becomes, then we have a problem. So are we more focused? Are we watching our financial portfolios? Do we find ourselves determined to have the American dream? Are we not taught to never lose sight of this? No, society to the American dream. The dream of financial freedom and prosperity, and in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with that. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And the world tells us we can have it. We can have it. If we work for it, if we focus on it, if we persevere, and if you do for yourself. Yes, if you'll only look out for yourself. Because if you don't, no one else will. That's what we're taught. The world tells us that you've got to take care of number one. You've got to watch out for yourself. Don't lose your car. Don't get your car repossessed. Protect yourself from home foreclosure. Don't lose your house. Store up, save up, hoard, collect. Hold it all for comfort and for peace of mind. And before we know it, the world and the super fast pace of this life has consumed us. We have to live in the world. It says in the pen of inspiration, it says, open the door heavenward, earthward. Well, what does that mean? We live in the earth. I think if we think about it, we understand toward God. You think about that. That puts it into perspective, doesn't it? That makes perfect sense. And he said unto his disciples, he says, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for the body, what ye shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse nor barns, and God feedeth them. How much more are ye better than the fowls? And which of you, which taking thought, can add to his stature 1 cubit? If ye then be not able to do this thing which is least, why take ye thought for the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not, and yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothe the grass, which is today in the field, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more shall he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind from the wedding. When he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself, and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. And if he shall come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. And this know, that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched, and not have suffered his house to be broken through. But ye therefore, it's so beautiful. You keep everything so meticulous. He says, it's if you before us, in the forefront of our minds. God says, don't get too comfortable here. Don't get too comfortable here. The world is not your home. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. 1 John 2:15 through 17. Brothers and sisters, let us not dig our roots so deep into this earth, into this world, that we can never be moved. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. But let us always work at the preparing for our move to our heavenly home. To our heavenly home. It can be easy to compromise our principles if we don't keep our garments. You realize that. It's easy to be turned aside. This life, our jobs, our homes, and all that we do on this earth is only a means to an end. It's all temporal. None of it is permanent. Therefore, it makes no sense to invest in it so deeply that it impedes our work toward our true home. It makes no sense. You see, brothers and sisters, as He will bless us right up until His return. Right up to that day. He's not going to let go. But these blessings are rarely in the form of an expensive home or car. They are many times not in the form of wealth at all, unless it is to relieve the suffering of others. It is not just for us to squander it, to consume it upon our lusts. God gives is the wonderful news of salvation, the news of His soon coming, blessings that serve to bring great relief, confidence, and faith. Blessings that assure us that sin will not hold sway over us. That sin will cease to reign. That sin will cease to reign in our lives. But these blessings are not to be ours alone. They're not to be continually pass them on to others. They're only ours for a moment. We bless someone else, the Lord blesses us again. That's how it works. It's constantly moving. That all may receive the blessings of God. All may have this reassurance. Yes, brothers and sisters, we are conduits for God's words. Everybody know what that means, conduit? Conduit is a pipe. It can channel water. I'm putting conduits up at my camp that have electrical wires going through it. If something travels, we are conduits for the Word of God. It goes into us and out of us into the next conduit. And it's all interconnected. A means by which the blessings that we receive are to be passed on to all who are suffering, to all who are in. For these blessings, they are only ours for a moment. You realize that. And we are to always be ready to receive new blessings as quickly as we pass them on to others. Freely ye have received, freely give. That's Matthew 10:8. That's what it reads. You know, the problem with some Christians today is Seventh-day Adventists, I would say, and other faith groups as well, is we believe we are privileged, okay? I believe we are privileged. I believe we've been giving the end-time message to give to a dying world. I believe the Jews are chosen by God, put in the center of the world at that time. Anyone who traveled at that time had to pass through Israel. Had to pass through. There's the crossroads of the world in those days. And why were they